Download the AllStar app. Make your picks for UFC fights, challenge your friends, level up and win prizes. Link in description. Get it now.
UFC Vegas 85, all right? So we're going to talk about some of the things that happen. We're not going to really go over, like, you know, like the other shows are going over, like, every single fight and all that bullshit. I ain't going over that shit. That's just too long. We're going to go over the main event, and we're not even going to go over the result. We're going to talk about two things that happened in the main event. The number one thing is the first round. Nassourdine Imavov goes in there. You know what I mean? He's always been dangerous. He's always been a good striker. And Roman Dolidze, man, got hit with like 100 strikes in that first round. He was rocked. I thought the fight was going to be finished. You know what I mean? Like, it should have been. You think so? It should have been, right? But you know who was the ref, right? Yeah. Herb Dean. Herb Dean's the dude. If he dies, he dies. That's the dude. He's the dude. If he dies, he dies, right?
He gives everybody a lot of benefit of the doubt, I guess.
Yeah, but then if he makes a mistake, the next fights, he stops him early, or it makes it like it's a trip, man. Like, he used to be, well, he is still one of the best, but he used to be like the top, right?
I think
like,
it's hard, because he's done so many.
Bro, he's always working everywhere.
Yeah,
everywhere,
all over the world.
Yeah,
all
see him. He's doing one.
He's more famous than the fighters.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, like I've seen him in other countries where people are like taking pictures with him.
Yeah.
Like, he's legit like famous.
There have been plenty of times where I'm like, who the fuck are those guys? Oh, Herb Dean.
So in the first round, right, I was like, when I was watching the fight, I was like watching the fight, and after the first round, right, the dude just unloaded crazy like barrage on Roman, and Roman survived, right? A lot of people thought the fight should have been finished. Somebody here thinks that, but it wasn't finished. The end of the round came. Roman looked like he was messed up, like he was confused, right? I didn't even think he knew where he was. And the thing that I was thinking about in that fight was that Roman, was he fighting on autopilot? Like, was he just like on survival mode? Because if you notice in the round 2, 3, and 4, especially round 2 and 3, he would just clinch and just hold for a long. He was like I think that he was on autopilot. I think he was. That's crazy, right? Like, how you're at the highest level. Both these guys are top 15 in the world, and one guy gets just cleaned in the first, and he's on autopilot for 2 rounds, and the other guy can't even finish him.
But it makes me think of Chris Lieben. Do you remember Chris Lieben?
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah, giant head. Dude would just like walk through punches, right? He just would not. It was so hard. Like, guys just couldn't seem to finish him, right? He's just like walking forward and brawling. And then people would ask him, there was like an interview where someone asked him like, oh, how did you get through that? And he's like, dude, I don't remember that. That's scary, man. Like, to be essentially like
a
zombie. Yeah.
Well, look at what happened to the zombie now, right? He's retired, but look at his last couple of fights. That stuff catches up to you. Like, that fighting style. Like, the Roman doesn't fight like that. He just had to survive, right?
Yeah.
So he survived to the end of the fight. That's nuts, right? First round, he gets cleaned, and he survives to the 5th round to the decision. Man, props to Roman for doing that, right? 100%. He's tough as hell. Imavov, he's
you
skilled.
gotta understand how tired you get from trying to finish somebody that won't get finished. That is, or that is the most tiring thing too. Just beating up on the brick, like that's
beating up on
a brick. Yeah, but the thing is, like, I guess damage doesn't get you tired, or does it?
It does.
It does,
because it's mentally too.
Yeah, there's that drain of like, like, ow. But I think the thing is a lot of the time when you're getting damaged, you're also kind of, maybe you're shelling up. You're not exerting as much. You're just right. So it's less on the gas tank, and I think it's more on the mental. Whereas when you're exerting yourself, it's like when you hit pads, right? Pads can be exhausting. Well, when you fight, when you spar, you're not only being offensive for the entire round, or not usually, right? So then usually fighting is like less exhausting in a lot of ways than like hitting pads,
And the pace is slower.
and the pace is slower.
Yeah, hitting pads is exhausting.
Yeah.
It is exhausting. You go 5-minute round,
Yeah.
like full strength, like
Yeah.
kicking and punching, especially kicking. It seems like kicking will get you gassed.
Oh, unless you're super conditioned and Muay Thai guy,
Still.
it just
Yeah,
still.
even then, you know.
But even them, they're not even like kicking like MMA fighters kick.
No.
You know what I mean? It's a little different, right?
Yeah.
Like I mean, I don't know. It just seems like MMA fighters are putting more into their strikes
Probably.
than the Muay Thai fighters. You know what I mean? Muay Thai fighters, they'll like touch you, and then they'll go
Blast.
Yeah, blast. Yeah. Some MMA fighters do that, but I think most of them are like they're trying to knock you out because the gloves are so small. So like you touch them, it's over.
I do think, with small gloves, it just feels like every shot counts. Every shot can just drop.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. One shot can end the fight with a cut.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
At the wrong spot. Like,
that's why I love elbows.
Yeah, exactly. Like elbows should be legal anywhere, everywhere. Knees as well. So have you had that experience in a fight? Like, have you had the experience of like where you got caught, got hurt, and then you're like, man, I have to survive, but you don't remember? Like,
I don't remember. I had 2 different Muay Thai fights where both opponents were significantly more experienced than I was. And after the first round, it was pretty obvious that I wasn't winning that. But I've always tried to have the mentality of like, all right, if I'm destined to lose this, I'm going to make you look as bad as possible as I'm losing. Right. Like for me, I want to show as much heart as I can. Right. And I want to try to like take him down with a fighting chance or whatever, like both of those were Muay Thai fights. The one fight, I got finished with leg kicks, and I remember I like dropped from one of the kicks. I got up, kneed him in the gut. And I just remember him kind of being surprised that I still was trying to push forward and stuff. But I mean, 10 kicks later, and I was like hobbling, and my corner threw in the towel. But I was proud of myself for the fact that
you ain't quit.
I didn't quit. Exactly. Or I fought a Thai once in a Muay Thai fight, and I just remember his knees and everything. Like it was to the point where my eyes were looking for air. That's when it's bad. You're like, and I just remember thinking like, still catching. I think I swept him twice after I was winded, and just thinking like, fuck this, man. Like, I got to get through this, and I got to make sure that he doesn't look flawless. I don't want my opponent to ever look flawless, even if they're going to beat me. Like, you will not get a flawless victory on me.
I hope not.
Nah.
You hope not, right?
Like, but that's the thing is like, I think, credit to Dolice, yeah. That's how you say his name. Like,
Dolidze, you're talking about?
Dolidze, yeah. When you fight through it, like he was able to make. I like Imavov actually. Like I think he's a really amazing fighter, and he was able to make him like less of a mythical. Like when the guy comes in and sparks you and finishes you in the first round and everything, that looks a lot different than you surviving, and you end up making it a 5-round fight. Instead, like he was able to sort of, how do I want to put it?
Like he didn't drop in anybody's eyes. Like he looked like a stud. You know what I'm saying? Like he was like, he didn't look like no bitch, basically.
Yeah, exactly. He was still able to go to war after basically losing the
basically
first
dying and coming back.
Yeah, exactly. Like to get 10-8'd in the first round, and then still be able to make it a war after that. That's way harder to me than it being a war from the get-go and everything, and then you get 10-8'd at the end or something, like.
Well, there was a couple of rounds after that. I think the second or third round where he got hit a couple times hard.
Yeah.
He got hard. It could have dropped him.
And that's even harder because it'd be times where if you really watch fights, you see people quit
Yeah.
every fight. Like you see somebody quit, bro. He didn't quit, so it just shows you who he is. Like when you fight, you see a person real personality, and that's not a quitter. You can't do nothing but respect them.
Yeah.
Them
100%.
Georgia boys are tough, man. I'm not talking about the state. I'm talking about the country.
Yeah.
Both.
Yeah.
I knew you were gonna say something.
All us Georgia
All the
boys.
Georgia boys, right?
Hold your
Where you from?
peaches.
I'm from Georgia. And then you're like,
Everybody asks that. They be
Yeah.
like, Georgia, the country?
yeah.
I was like, sure,
Sure.
yeah, Georgia.
I'm the first one.
Yeah.
Come out. I'm the first one. Like, check it out. Anyway, yeah, man, those Georgia boys are tough because like you got Marab. He's from Georgia. You train with Marab, you know.
Yeah, I
you know
train
what
with
I mean?
Marab. I helped him with both the Aldo camp and the Jan camp, and that was tiring.
Yeah, what did he take? Attempt like what?
42.
42 takedowns
42?
on Peter Yan?
Yeah,
Yeah,
something like that.
42.
42,
You know, Peter
47.
Yan went into that fight with like a injured shoulder and a torn up leg, and he still survived Marab for 5 rounds.
And think about that mental toughness. You
Yeah.
like,
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I just found that out.
I had no idea.
I interviewed his manager, and he
Oh,
told me,
Rubenstein.
yeah,
Sayat.
Sayat.
Oh, okay.
Rubenstein, yeah, same thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, he told me that. He told me that, yeah, Peter, those are the injuries that he had going into the fight, but he was never gonna pull out.
Yeah,
that's
of
just
course.
Peter.
Yeah, that's
Peter
him,
would
right?
never pull out. He would have one arm chopped off. He would still go in and fight. You know what I mean? Like that's the mentality,
Yeah.
right? Like, and he's from Siberia, which is like it's cold up there.
Yeah.
Like, I would never go up there unless I had to, right? It's cold. We live in paradise.
Yeah.
That's the opposite. No wonder he comes here to do camp. But yeah, it's yeah. What do you think about the kick though? Like, remember, Roman was like playing the game with the hand, 3-point stance type thing, and then he did that slick, like kind of clinched him, but then threw up the kick from like this way and hit him. Like he hit him pretty good. Like I thought he was a pretty.
I think
kick.
if you playing the game, you playing it. You can't play with fire. So.
Yeah.
If it was me, I would have kicked him. Like, bro, I'm not gonna sit up here and just. This is a fight. This is war. I'm not gonna. No.
I mean, I think it's always really impressive when somebody is able to use a rule set to their advantage, but
when it's that nitpicky,
yeah,
it's no loophole. You can't really catch it.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Because you're playing with a human body. It's not like
and it's
words,
hard, right?
and you know what I'm saying. Like it's not like a rule. If your hand is down, you can't get hit. If your hand is up, you can't get hit. But if you're doing this,
and
I think,
But it's not even that. Like they also like they'll be like, well, was it weighted? Was it weight bearing or not? And things like that. Like I cornered Gian when she kneed Mandy, right? And then it was like, well, was the knee weight bearing? Was it not? And all that stuff. And it's like, honestly, man, like she was just sitting there, and I remember seeing it in the moment, and Gian was kneeing the body, and she turned her head and she threw another knee, and it just happened to catch Mandy. And it's just sort of like, it's one of those really unfortunate situations where you got beat by a rule set in what was essentially an accidental strike to the head and it's like,
it's up to the ref too.
It is, and the refereeing and that incident was terrible. Yeah. But it's like, look, man, if I'm bent over and the only difference is whether or not I have my hand on the ground, man, like that doesn't
make sense.
Like, you should,
from a fighter's perspective, right? Like, but from a referee's perspective, like you have to enforce the rules, you know. So it's like it's hard to say, you know what I mean, is he using his like personal viewpoint on the rule, or is he using, because it's like he hit him clean. Like it was like he hit him when he had his hand down, without a doubt, if you watch the fight, right? But you know, I thought was gonna happen? I thought Roman was done. I thought, dude, he just took the beating of his life in the first round, and he just got kicked in the face with his head like pretty close to the mat, right? I was like, he's done. Like he could walk away from this no contest and rematch.
Yeah.
He could have done that if he was thinking, right? But he's not. His brain is shooken up, right?
Well, it's just like wasn't it John Jones and Anthony Smith?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Anthony Smith should have took the DQ.
He would have been the champ.
Exactly,
Yeah.
right?
He would have won.
He would have, but it's still like. But then he would have fought again, and he would have been the champ, and John Jones would have been the challenger. Like,
yeah.
But you don't think about those things. I don't think when you're in the cage.
Not
right?
on the fly.
No. I
Your
mean,
coach has to tell you something. But they're like, that's why they say, coach, don't talk. Don't talk to the fighter.
Yeah.
That's the reason.
That was the whole Aljo thing, though, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's the reason why Aljo originally got the belt, right? Now, I do think he did a good job, sort of proving that he deserved that belt. Those were close fights, but yeah, I mean, he got it originally from a knee to the head when he was down.
They definitely need to change the rules. I just think that you should be able to not soccer kick, but I feel like you should be able to kick somebody or knee somebody with their hand down, 3-point stance.
Look at one. It's not.
You never see any issues with that in one because there is none.
The biggest issue with it in one is people are so used to the UFC that every time it happens in one, the announcers go, in one championship, knees to the head on a downed opponent are illegal. And it's like
they reiterate.
They remind people because somebody will be online like, oh my god, they let people like there's no rules.
Yeah.
Like, come on. Okay. But anyways, like that they definitely need to change that. Some reason like I don't
they
understand.
are. They said that
they are, but it's like, what are they gonna really do? You know what I mean? Like, are they really gonna change it? And it's gonna change across like all the commissions, or is it just gonna be Vegas, or like because like certain states when you go fight, there are different rules.
There's different rules. Yeah, it's weird.
It's very weird. Like it's like saying like, oh, you're gonna go play football in Montana, but Montana has different rules on the field, and you gotta adjust to it every week that you play somebody else. It's like fighting too. You're gonna go fight in South Dakota. South Dakota's rules are no elbows, but you've been like known for elbows, and you've been fighting for 10 years with the elbows. Now all of a sudden they have to tell you like no elbows, and you're fighting for the UFC. It doesn't make any sense.
Well, I mean, I've only fought in the States twice, and the one time I was left to my own devices, like every other fight that I've ever had, and then when I fought in Vegas, the commission was following me everywhere, and they were following me everywhere. They had I had to get permission to use the toilet. I also had to like pee in a cup before my fight and like all this different stuff. And I was like, yo, what is going on? And they're like, oh, well, Nevada State Athletic Commission, our rule set is that we have to follow the fighter as soon as they check into the venue. You have and so I wasn't allowed to go into the crowd and say hello to my family when they first came in. I wasn't allowed to like interact with anybody. I had somebody watching me. There was no caffeine allowed. Like it was all different. And I had never experienced that before. And I was like, this is weird.
A little over the top, right?
It felt over the top, especially for like, I mean, it was a good promotion. Tough Enough is a really good one, but it's still like a regional promotion, it's not the UFC, and having cornered in the UFC, they don't do that to them. Right. So it's like, if they don't do that to them in the UFC, why are they doing it to other people? I mean,
it sounds like some people want to be important.
And
be in control.
Like.
And like have some kind of power. Because they'd be like, hey, I'm in the Nevada State Athletic Commission. I am an officer.
It was interesting.
Power tripping for sure.
It was interesting.
Those dudes are untouchable. The judges that work for them, the referee, they're pretty much untouchable. Like, have you ever seen like a judge get penalized?
I've never seen a judge. Like, I've never seen them. Like, I don't even know how do you even become a judge.
Well, like of course, a lot of the judges are from boxing too, which is stupid.
But like, they're not even fighters. That's the weird part about it. That's like, I don't know, me working at a 5-star restaurant and I never cooked. Like, it's weird, bro.
Yeah, it is odd, man. I always like when the UFC is happening and I'm like watching the UFC, I'm always like tweeting like just talking shit about commissions. And if there's a referee mistake, I'll be like, the commission's a fucking joke. Or just something like the judge, will be like, judges are, paid government shills. You know what I mean? Like, I just write stuff like that. Because they're untouchable, man. They can't get fired, really. Like, it's weird, right? It's just, and then UFC just lets it happen because they're in bed with them too. You know what I mean? Like, without them, they don't exist. So.
Yeah.
But the co-main event was Hanato Moicano, which is Money Moicano, right, against Drew Dober. That's a fire fight, right?
Yeah.
See, ahead of the fight, Drew Dober is talking about, I'm gonna go in there. Hanato's like, I'm gonna knock this dude out. What did Hanato Moicano do? He got hit a couple times and said, "Uh-oh, this dude hits kind of hard." So he started wrestling, right? Smart move, but we expected you, Hanato, to go out there
and bang.
Yeah.
Because you talk all that, you're Money Moicano, you're exciting. You talk up that, like, you got to go out there and do it, I think.
Everybody got a plan till they get hit in the face.
That's right.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what I noticed in the first round when they start, like, Hanato came out, and I like Hanato. He's good. Like, his style is fun to watch and all that. But I did not expect him to be grappling like that against Drew Dober. Because he went out there and, like, went toe-to-toe with the zombie, got knocked. Well, I guess a lot of times when he got toe-to-toe, he got knocked out. The zombie knocked him out, and Fiziev knocked him out.
Yeah.
There's a few. But that's who Moicano was. Like, we were like, yeah, this dude, he's really good. He could fight on the ground. He could bang on the feet. But, man, it was kind of disappointing to watch him just, like, grapple Dober. But maybe he was on autopilot as well when he got cracked a few times, right? So I gotta be fair to him, but not the fight I expected, man.
Seems like Dober just hits like a truck, though, man.
And that's his weakness, is grappling.
Yeah. Dober's the Asian Lee Kai Wen. You know that, right? And Lee Kai Wen is the Asian Drew Dober.
Yeah.
They kind of look the same, you know what I mean?
They really do.
They kind of fight the same too, in a way, right? But anyways, yeah, that was I just wanted to say it was disappointing, man. There were some good performances, but like nothing too crazy and nothing too like.
I thought Molly did good. Got her armbar win.
Proved the doubters wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah, but look at who she fought. Just look at who she fought.
I think
it was just like, oh my god.
But I think she'll end up going on a good run, though.
One thing that makes Molly different from a lot of girls is Molly is a berserker. Like, when she sees you hurt, she's not afraid to go in and try to finish you. A lot of these girls, they don't have that for some reason.
Killer instinct.
Yeah, but Molly does. That's why Molly is like, that's why you've seen her hit that spinning elbow and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Because she's just like, oh, I'm gonna go in there and fight.
She hits kill switch mode. Yeah.
And other girls, some girls, they're good and they're talented and way more technical than Molly McCann, but they probably won't beat her just because of that reason. They don't have that. Like even the submission, the armbar, that was clean, right?
Yeah.
With 1 second left in the first
round. But it was
round.
killer instinct. Like
it was killer instinct, right? I bet you her coaches probably said, "What? 5 seconds left. Go for something. Go for the armbar, right, or something." They must have said something to her, right?
Probably, yeah.
And she went for it and she got it and snapped that girl's arm.
Oh man.
But
that looked nasty.
But I'm gonna be fair with you. Diana Belvita, not very good, man. Like very, very low level in that division. Like, I don't want to talk shit about her, but this is just the truth. You watch her fights, it's just she's cute.
They are cute.
But it's just like, when are we gonna get rid of that? When are we gonna stop that? Where like
just because
Instagram followers and cute and sexy doesn't become like the driving force of you getting into the UFC.
But that's where they get the views from too.
True.
Yeah, I mean, it's always that balance, right? Like it's kind of like, I think for a lot of guys, it's like the shit talking factor, right? That's the views and that's the thing, and then there's also the girls, and that's the look factor, right? Or the Instagram follower factor.
Yeah, it's a trip.
The only fan factor.
My guy, Charles Johnson, man, he got a big win, dude. He was on like a 3-fight losing streak. Last fight on his contract, took this fight short notice, and it was against a highly touted prospect, undefeated from Kazakhstan, and beat him.
Energy.
Energy, man. I love the guy. The guy is great, man. He's always like he's been out here a few times.
Yeah, he was at Tiger one.
Yeah. But like the last time he was out here, I just missed him because I was like, I just had left back to Korea. But yeah, always cool dude. You know what I mean? Like he's always like very realistic about his situation, and he knew like if he didn't win this, but he's always exciting. Like his fights are always good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
That always helps, right?
Yeah, it
that
does
always
help.
pushes it forward.
I hope they re-sign him, you know, because sometimes you fight out your contract, they just don't want to re-sign you. But he's a flyweight. He has an exciting style, and he was like the second most tested fighter in the UFC. Did you know that?
I had no
Why are
idea.
they testing a flyweight more than everybody else? It makes
We are
no sense.
we are the Noodle Boys.